So decided that you want to play as an Inquisitor, but you don't know where to start. This guide is here to help you. So the normal Inquisitor gets Judgment, that is a special ability that it can activate in a certain amount of combats each day, and it will last for the whole combat. It can give you bonuses like +2 damage, +2 hit, fast healing, and some other pretty good stuff. A big part of Inquisitors is solo tactics. Let them use teamwork feats without needing other party members to have those teamwork feats. Monster Tactician removes Judgment and adds the ability to summon monster in up to level 9, and her summons last for longer than normal when she uses her special summon monster ability. So 1 minute per level instead of 1 round per level, and it's a standard action to summon as a spell-like ability instead of 1 round that the spell normally is. At 5th level, a Monster Tactician gains Summon Tactics, which gives all teamwork feats she possesses to all her summoned creatures, which will increase the power of the summoned creatures by a lot. A Tactical Leader can give teamwork feats to her party members as a standard action, and they retain the feats for 3 rounds plus 1 round for every 2 levels. So a Tactical Leader can be extremely strong in some parties for a number of combats each day. If the whole party can use the teamwork feats really well, then it's really strong. But if you have some casters that don't get any real bonuses from the teamwork feats, then the Tactical Leader becomes a lot weaker. The Sacred Huntsmaster doesn't get Judgment. Instead, she gets an Animal Companion and Favored Enemy. Favored Enemy increases your chance to hit and damage certain enemies. All Inquisitors needs to select a god, and some gods are better than others. The most important thing about a god is its domain, mechanically speaking. So let's take a look at Desna. She grants you access to Chaos, Good, Liberation, Luck, and Travel. She also grants the Star Knife. Here's a table of domains that I like and which gods grant those domains and what type of thing the domain gives you, like if it buffs you or if it grants you rerolls or if it increases your mobility. Here's a table that shows you the favorite weapon of some gods, the better weapons. So if 2 gods have the same domain, let's say you want the Luck domain, and Desna has it, but she gives you the Star Knife. And let's see here, Shellen also has the Luck domain that you want, but she has the Glaive, and the Glaive is a stronger weapon overall than the Star Knife. So I clicked on the deity I wanted, I picked Shellen, and then I pick Luck domain. Now, because I'm a Sacred Huntsmaster, I will need to select an Animal Companion. There are 3 Animal Companions that I would recommend. The Boar, because it's really tanky, it gets +9 armor class. The Smilodon, I hope that I pronounced that somewhat correctly, is also a good choice, but it's not a tank, it's a damage dealer. It has 5 attacks it can use, 4 claw attacks and 1 bite, so it's the Animal Companion that has the highest damage potential in the long run. There's also the Leopard that has the ability to trip enemies when it bites, and it has absolutely great dexterity, and it will get pounce and dex to damage. So what races are good for Inquisitors? Of course humans. Humans are good for everything. Human is the best race in game overall. Dwarf is also a good choice. They have great weapon proficiencies. Dwarven weapons are really good, and Inquisitors don't have the best weapon proficiencies in the game. They have Hardy, that gives them +2 on saving throws against poison, spells, and spell-like abilities. So pretty much everything bad in the game they will have a +2 against. There's also a feat that will give dwarves +4 instead of +2. Their stats give you a penalty to charisma. You don't care about charisma as an Inquisitor most of the time. You get a bonus to constitution, which is always a good thing to have. And they give you a bonus to wisdom, and wisdom is your casting stat. So that's also good to have. Not the best stats you could wish for, but still pretty good. Half-elves and half-orcs, I would say, are still good, but not as good as humans. If you're thinking about playing a human or a half-elf or half-orc, I would definitely go with human. For Aasimar, there are a few kinds of Aasimars that I would recommend. Angelkin, it gives you +2 to strength. It gives you +2 to charisma. That's probably not a big selling point, but the +2 strength is. Lawbringer gets the same bonuses as a dwarf, +2 to constitution, +2 wisdom, but it doesn't get any penalties. So Lawbringer is also a really good choice. The Plumpkith is also a good choice. It gives you +2 dexterity and +2 wisdom. So if you're making a dexterity build, this would be a perfect fit. Otherwise, if you're making a strength build, it's a good fit. Dexterity is always good to have. So the Inquisitor gets 5 skill points. That's a lot. And you probably don't need that many skill points. So I've dumped intelligence on the stat lines I show here. The ranged one focuses on dex and has strength and wisdom as its secondary stats. The melee one focuses on strength and has okay stats in the other things. And remember, these are before racial modifiers. And what you want to increase is your primary stat for the build, primarily. Secondarily, you want to increase your wisdom for your spellcasting. It would also be good to increase your con or dexterity. If it's not your primary stats, then you definitely should increase it. But the melee dex build, there's no point to increasing the strength. A ranged character needs to pick up point blank shot. It increases your damage and to hit chance against enemies within 30 feet. And after that, you want to pick up precise shot. It eliminates the -4 penalty from shooting into melee. So those 2 feats are required for ranged Inquisitors. You can pick both up if you're a human at first level, otherwise you will have to wait until level 3. Some good passive feats are martial weapon proficiency. If your god didn't give you a good weapon, martial weapon proficiency can be good depending on what you want to do. Combat reflexes gives you more attacks opportunities per turn if you have a dex of 14 or higher. There's also feats like dodge, improved initiative, iron will, reflex, and toughness that gives you some kind of static bonus, which is good. They're not interesting, but they're good to have. If you want to do more damage with your character, I would recommend power attack and then get into the Cleave line. From what I've heard, Cleave is really good in this version of a game, and you can get Cleave at level 1 if you're a human. It lets you cleave as a standard action. You can make a single attack against an enemy, and if you hit that enemy, you can make another attack against another foe that's adjacent to the first enemy. So Cleave basically increases your damage in total over the battlefield, but you don't deal more damage to a specific target. After Cleave, you should get Great Cleave. As long as you hit an enemy, you will keep cleaving, so you can kill or damage a lot of enemies. After that feat, Cleaving Finish is a good option. If you drop down an enemy to 0 or fewer HP when you're using a Cleave, you can make another attack. It can maximally give you 1 extra attack per turn. If you want to make an intimidation build, the Inquisitor is pretty good for that, because Inquisitors get Stern Gaze that increases your intimidation check and perception check by half your level, so you can get really high intimidation checks. If you go for an intimidation build, don't drop your charisma that much. Then you want to pick up weapon focus and then Dazzling Display. Dazzling Display lets you as a full round action make an intimidate check against all foes within 30 feet who can see your display. So you can debuff a lot of people. Let's talk about teamwork feats. So the first teamwork feat I will mention is Precise Strike. Precise Strike lets you deal an extra d6 points of damage, just like sneak attack when you're flanking. And flanking is extremely easy in this game, so this feat will give you plus 3.5 damage on average on each attack. And because you have solo Tactician, nobody else needs to have the feat, which is really good. Outflank is also good. It increases your flanking bonus to +4. And when you score a critical hit against an adjacent flanked creature, it provokes an attack opportunity from your allies. This means that if you crit somebody, other people can attack them. You can also get Seize the Moment, that makes you get an attack opportunity when an ally confirms a critical hit. Those are the main teamwork feats that I can recommend. For spells, I would recommend Shield of Faith and Divine Favor. Both gives you static bonuses for your AC or your damage rolls, which will make you better in combat. This will be all from me today. If you have any questions about the Inquisitor, leave them down in the comments. If I missed something, tell me, and see you all next time.